Welcome back, everybody, to Wait a Minute. This isn't Fantasy Farm. Well, it kind of is. Welcome back, everybody, to Stardew Valley, here on the tropical part of Fantasy Farm. It would appear that today the star fruits are ready, and I can actually harvest these with the scythe now, as there is no fear about if there are any golden walnuts left in terms of the farming. We are done with that. It is all good. That taken care of. There is not much left, admittedly, but what there is mail. George has sent us some stones, so I'll be sure to chuck that away. I believe that was our only pineapple. And as for everything else, let's just drop all of the starred items. We'll put these away for the time being. And so first, two things to go over. Is one, I'm going to head up to the volcano and enchant a tool, and secondly, that also means that if I don't get it on the first try, the times might look a little bit weird on the clock in the top right, and also, I'm going to check my list and see what golden walnuts we have left, but we're still heading back to the farm regardless at some point. So, I will see you guys momentarily when we get one of these items forged with the actual enchantment that I want. Alright, I am back, and can you guess which thing I have upgraded? I will give you a hint. It is... No, I already had the pickaxe. It is the fishing rod, the advanced iridium rod. I have given it preserving. What this does, and again, you will be seeing all of the different notes for things you can get, and what I recommend from most to least, most being at number 1 and least being at the bottom. Preserving will give a chance to not consume your bait, or also decrease your tackle's power, or I guess health, really. It'll have a chance to prevent that from decreasing, so it is a very handy tool to have. There's a fair few of them that are pretty handy. Auto hook, I know a lot of people say is really nice, but it seems to be largely the people that don't really like fishing or aren't good at fishing by their own admission that prefer that. So if you're not good at fishing, I might recommend auto hook. But if you don't mind it, like myself, then auto hook's probably not too terribly big of a deal for you. So kind of depends on what you do or don't like. But unlike with the pickaxe, there's a fair few options here that I would say are definitely, at the very least, feasible options, at bare minimum. So with that taken care of, let's clear out everything in the dig site, just because I'm already over here. Might get some taro, that could come in handy. And instead we get an orange ghee. Ah, there we go. There's some taro. Also a snake skull there. Oh, they're already back. No, I've been waiting for like an hour and a half for the lawnmowers and weed eaters to go away because, like, they shouldn't be able to take up that much space. There's not that much center area to mow, and yet there they are. They're still here. They still have not left somehow, some way. Also, back to the game, one of the important things I wanted to show off right here is in the options menu, there is an ability called Show Advanced Crafting Information. I want to click on this because when you check your crafting, you can actually see the number of things you've crafted. So if you're going for craft every item, this is very useful because now you'll know, like, hey, I've crafted a torch twice, I've crafted a furnace twice, I have not crafted an anvil, I've crafted the statue of the Dwarf King once. So if you are trying to keep track of what you have and have not crafted, this is a very useful tool that I only recently found out about. And yeah, very glad I did, because at some point we are going to have to do that. And that was going to get rough without that ability. Let's see, I'll take the coal back, as I don't really have any use for it here. We'll put these away, fiber. I'm going to sell the legs and the skulls. So let's get rid of both of those. Keep the prismatics here. Mystery box I can take with me. I'm gonna have to make another chest. I'm running out of space here, but that's alright. Everything else I either want to keep or plant. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. We'll plant this. I guess we'll see what that turns into. For now, we do need to head back to the valley, and with any luck, hopefully I'm going to find Leo. But before we continue on, I am going to do another cut to find out where he is, because I've been doing a really bad job of figuring out where exactly he is. So I want to try to ascertain where the heck he's supposed to be, and with any luck, because of that, we'll be able to give him a gift today. Alright. Oops, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to get this going. Let me think. let's go ahead and get these planted to the ancient seeds. Might as well plant them. So, if my information is correct, then Leo should basically be hanging around the museum for a pretty good chunk of today. So, fingers crossed that is exactly where he will be. Yeah, I think we'll just gift him, go to the farm, and basically head back. I'm going to try to get back here before 5 hits. And the reason being is I want to keep upgrading those tools, or getting the extra enchantments on those tools. So, I got to make sure I stay on top of that. And the best way to do that is by digging up mixed seeds. Now, the best way to do that is by making sure that I am in that bed, so it will take less time for me to get over there. But we do have 2 quests here. I don't really feel like doing either of these, and we've already completed both of those, so I am going to take a pass on that. Ooh, thank you. I'm glad they take that blackberry, though. Leo, are you by chance in here? If you're not in here, are you nearby? I really hope you are. It did say about 9 o'clock, so it might have been taking him a while to get here, potentially, but he might just be kind of nearby here. Yeah, maybe my info was incorrect. Oh, no, there he is. There he is. Good. Hi. How things been going with you? Between Linus and Miss Penny, I'm going to learn everything there is to learn. Mary Louise says I'm on the fast track to becoming a well-rounded citizen, whatever that means. It just means you're doing good, buddy. You're doing a good job. All right. Go over here. So these are the stars, by the way. Oh, the carp. Yeah, probably not going to be doing that. I do need to do some fishing, but I want to do fishing on the island. But that said, we are getting close to the point where there are not many golden walnuts left. By my track, and I could entirely be wrong, we still have one to get from Journal Scrap 10, which that one is straight up confirmed. I'm 100% certain on that one. So there is that. There is 1 left to be gained from fishing. There are 3 left to be gotten by putting a banana on the statue, which we can't do yet. And the remaining ones, which I believe are another 3, are by blowing up rocks in the dungeon. So those are the primary things that we need to focus on doing. I think I'm just going to take the mixed seeds with me. I'm not going to worry too much about any of this junk right now. I'm just going to leave it be. And we're going to focus primarily on... Oh, thought that speed booster ran out. It did not. Focus primarily on routine. These are not done yet, which is I'm okay with. So yeah, we're quickly going to check the farm. We're going to get everything out of here, and then we're going to go right back to the island. Thank heavens for the scythe making this go a little bit more smoothly. We have enough time to plant those, yes. And by time, I mean, like, time in the season, not time before we have to head back. There we go. Looks like it's just a couple of the mixed seeds that were done, as well as the eggplants. Let's go here and here. Switch to watering can. Get those going. We could plant them on the island, but you know what? They grow fine here. So here's just as good as any other spot. What do we have? Our highest number of apples. I do have some apples in my refrigerator. I should eat one of those. Not on camera, though. Those are very loud, very crunchy, and you don't want to hear that. But after this recording is done, that does sound like a good little snack to have before bed. Just give all the pets, all the pets. We'll deal with that stuff momentarily. I want to put everything up first. Anything I want to keep? Pretty much just the mixed seeds and the coffee beans, I think. So we'll keep that. move you down here. I might very quickly look at the fairy roses again. So those are the 2 that did not stack. I feel like from here we're probably okay to just not worry about those in the immediate future anyway. And if we do need more, we can grow them on the island. You can go in there. And let's dump all of this stuff in the bin. Alright. With that all binned, let's take a look at what's going on in here. Looks like we still have a little ways to go before the dinosaur mayo is done. Or not the dinosaur mayo, but the dinosaur egg that's incubating is done, rather. So we can put these back away. Time-wise, I feel like we're doing pretty okay here. Don't need the shears, just the pail. Just the pale ale. Which I now know is a summer only on the special order, so as of right now, there is only one special order we can do until it rolls around to spring, and that is the one that requires us tracking down... I'll just sell the goat milk, I don't want to go back in there again. That will require us getting the ectoplasm for the wizard. That is the only remaining quest that we are missing. Other than that, we have conquered them all, if you can believe it. Doesn't seem like we have. It seems like just the other day we were, like, not even halfway done, but here we are. Somehow. Anything else I want to do? I probably do have time to crack these open, honestly. And whatever I get, I don't have to take it back. I can just bin it. These need to keep going. So let's keep those going. I'm going to do something a little risky here. Not building the sprinklers, that's not a risky thing. I knew I was going to do that sooner rather than later. That was the whole point of getting the iridium in the first place. The risky thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do too much at once, is what most people would know it as. But that has not stopped me in the past. I'm going to try to get some more starfruit seeds from Sandy. And then, theoretically, that's probably all I'll be able to do. If I think I can manage to get to Clint's in time, and somehow also cash in the prize ticket, then I will do that too. But that also is a very small window of time with which to work. So, probably not going to be happening. But one can dream. You can dream, but you can still have nightmares. Good news is, at least with getting to Clint, that's probably also the fastest route. They're probably about the same with the horse, but it won't be too far off to just swing over here and hit town, and boom, there we go. Unfortunately, he's closed at 4, so that will not be happening anymore, but we might... I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk it. Oh, wow, I'm risking it for a houseplant. Whoop-de-doo. Well, you know what? That's going to go in my island hut if I can make it back in time, which it looks like I will. Okay, now I'm just showing off. I should actually get in there before we run out of time. Hey, Willie. Actually, while you're still here, lava eel bait... stuff that I want. I'll grab 2 of those. I don't want to waste too much money here, but I did just waste a fair bit by doing that. Sorry if it smelled like fish, huh? You really didn't need to tell us that. Could have been fine without knowing that, but alright. It has been said, it has been done, and therefore it has happened. So moving swiftly on from the fish-smelling fisherman, which, like, again, he didn't have to tell us that, and even if he did, it's like, well, yeah, you smell like fish, you are a fisherman, like, that. This is the one time it's okay to smell like fish, is if your job is literally working with fish. Oh well. So yeah, needless to say, today is kind of a replanting day with everything that we have harvested and collected that does not have the infinite respawns, as it were. I do want to get all of those sections done. And I might have retilled a little bit too much, but we'll see. For whatever reason, my brain can't do the math of seeing something and being like, oh, that looks to be about like 76 tiles or whatever, and then it ends up being way too low or way too high of a number. Let's grab that one. All right. Yeah, we'll probably end up with about 20, somewhere in the teens maybe, left when we're done planting all of what we've got. Oh no, it was actually less. It was 6. Alright. Well, that was a fairly decent estimation, if that's the case. As for the last one, we'll just tack it right on there. Plant, and then I believe, yes, I do have some mixed seeds. Got a wheat and 2 other things. At least I'm pretty sure that's wheat. Usually the little dots like that are, but I could be wrong. It could be something completely different. I missed a spot right there. Oh well. Alright, with not much time left in the day, admittedly, where do we go from here? I could get these sprinklers set down, even if I don't need them yet. So I might as well go ahead and do that. Oh, more mixed seeds. Alright, well, guess those are getting planted too. And this will probably be as far as I need to go with these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I don't really think I'm going to need to do any more of these. I'm going to put them here because these can still hit ones even if they're not all the way there. But yeah, really about 2 more is all I need. I could add some over there, but I kind of want to have a little bit of this walled off. Just for the simple fact of it just looks nicer, and not even walking through the crops anymore is that big of an issue because we've got the book to take care of that. Let's see. Nothing is like just jumping out straight away, other than needing to plant this in that spot that I missed, right there. I do think I'm going to go ahead... Well, no, I don't have the copper bar on me, unless I want to make a normal-sized chest, and I don't really think I want to do that. So I will hold on to the mystery boxes for the time being. I am going to do what I said. I am going to put this in here. Add a teensy tiny bit of life to the otherwise barren area here. I would normally take out the fish smoker, but I can't really use that as I have no coal. I suppose if that's the case, that's not what I meant to do. I think for now we'll just fish, and if I pick up that last golden walnut, if that is still on my list, then great. That's the only one I'm not fully convinced on, but I'm quietly confident that I'm missing one. The only downside is the parrot upstairs, i.e. on the east side of the island, keeps telling me, like, oh yeah, you've got one that's hidden behind a secret note. And I know it's hidden behind the secret note, but there's not much I can do about that right now. The best odds of finding that are either artifact spots or blowing up rocks. And either way, I've been doing those decently diligently, so it will just turn up when it decides to turn up. So this is a case of, if we fish up that last golden walnut and it's there, great. If not, we're making extra money by doing this. Which is good, because I just spent a fair bit. Every time it feels like we're getting close to upgrading Pam's house, then lo and behold, I need to go and buy something else for some other reason. This will be a nice little pick-me-up. And granted, we've still got all of our farm supplies and stuff that we tossed in there, so we'll make some of that back. But it is no secret, those starfruits are not cheap. Basically, we probably are paying for about 2 starfruit seeds for every 3 catches we get, roughly. So it is a bit of a climb. But they are being put to good use, because we did put some starfruit in there, the gold and silver ones, so... I'll actually have to check and see how much starfruit we've got across the board later on. And what I could do is, if I really don't care about the island hut and, like, you know, making it all decorative and whatnot, which that kind of depends. That will mostly depend on once I get all of the various... Oh, this lets you get all these furniture pieces from this set by convenient access. Once I've got all those, if I kind of decide, like, okay, these are themes and whatnot that I want to do, and the regular farmhouse just isn't enough space, then I can make more. If I decide not to, that could become an area where I put more kegs and make more starfruit wine that way. Now, granted, I would still have to take those over to the caskets at the island, or at the farm, rather. But again, it's a lot easier to make more kegs because you can place them plenty of other places. Oh, hey, a dinosaur egg. Than it is for the casks, so... At some point, we'll just end up with so much starfruit wine that it probably won't fully be worth the time to upgrade it in the casks, because the casks will never be able to catch up. The kegs are naturally faster anyway, and there's just, on average, there's going to be more of them regardless, so... I was wondering if he was going to try to get away at the last second. Some broken glasses. Even on the island, Evelyn is managing to lose her glasses, even though she hasn't set foot on the island yet, because we still haven't opened it up to villagers. Yeah, those smaller quests, too, like the one that I ultimately... I collected it, but I chose not to do it, like the fishing the cart for Demetrius. If you do have to give it to that individual, that can be another reason you might want to close down the area and not let the villagers go, is because if you're trying to find them, and normally you might have access to them after 5, and they will come back at 5, but if you're, like, trying to, you know, search around for them and you can't find them, and especially if it's, like, one of the younger kids, they'll probably get off the boat and pretty much head straight to their house to go to bed. So if you don't have access to them because you can't get into their house or can't get into their room, then there's not much you can do there, unfortunately. So unfortunately, it kind of can be a little debilitating, which is a shame. I'd love to be able to, like, share the island. It'd be really cool for Leo to be able to show everybody around and be like, hey, this is where I've spent the last X amount of years of my life, or this is where I've eaten X amount of golden walnuts, as he would say. I don't know, I kind of like the island being a little bit more abandoned. Like, it's not full abandoned, because you see Leo at first, and you're like, oh, this is, like, sole survivor, but then, like, the museum curator is also here, the dwarf is also here on floor 5, the old lady is also here. Willie has also come here a time or two, like, he's met Leo, so he's been here before. So I like it being not a lot, but not fully abandoned either. I'm curious to see what's going to be in that gold chest. I'm getting the sense it'll be a treasure chest or a pearl, some sort of high-value item that's designed for selling. No, but there is an iridium bar in here, and that's pretty good. Yeah, you can see that those bobbers are definitely not decreasing nearly as quickly as they ought to be, considering that we're pulling in these casts pretty dang quickly. Pretty much the minute it hits the water, it's ready to go. So yeah, if you were doing multiplayer, this is a phenomenal way to get fish captured quickly when you're stuck in these fishing bars, and sometimes, you know, it'll take a bit of time to reel them in. I think that'll probably be our last one, since we're at 1:30 though. It won't take us that long to get back, but still, don't want to fall asleep here. Yeah, we made a pretty good amount. The super cucumbers will be worth a good bit. Actually, no, let's do the Joja Cola. Doesn't last for as long, but that's okay, because that's not really what we need it for. I think with the exception of that iridium bar... Not even that, too. And the trash. I think everything else we will keep. Trying to remember if I'd left something else up there, like a TV or whatever, but nope. Alright, so we made some of that back. 33,000. So where did most of that probably came from? Yeah, the starfruit, I would guess. A little bit of everything, but mostly the starfruit. Yeah. So you plant them for 400, and at Gold Star, they're worth a little over 3 times that value with the professions and whatnot we have. Man. And then how did our fishing do? Yeah, most of that was a super cucumber, but the lionfish don't do too bad either. They're not, again, they're not the best in the world, but they're not terrible. They're not terrible. Sorry about that, had to take a drink. I needed it quite badly. What else I need to do is harvest some of these crops, because it looks like more of the taro is done. Anything down here, perhaps? That starfruit's getting close, but it's not quite there yet. We'll give it a bit more time. Alright, first thing is first, after putting all of this away, I'm going to head up to the volcano. We will craft our next thing, and I will see you guys when I'm up there, depending on how many takes it takes. I will let you know, and fingers crossed it won't be too terribly many. But we will see what happens. Alright, that is another one down. We have upgraded our axe. I'm just kidding. For whatever reason, it wanted to give me powerful on the axe so badly. And after 6 attempts in a row where it gave me powerful, which does not make it easier to chop trees, it makes the axe do more damage. We don't use this as a weapon. I ultimately decided instead to go with the hoe to get reaching. Now, there are a couple good options here, but it is worth noting if you're going to do reaching with the hoe, you're probably going to want it with the watering can as well. What this does, as you're obviously seeing on screen, allows you, instead of just doing your usual radius where it increases each time, you will get one last increase. Instead of doing that, you can get a 5x5 radius, and it will do the same thing for the watering can. So it can kind of mess up your tilling and watering if you don't have both. If you don't want either, then just don't pick either, go with something else. But if you want it on one, you're probably going to want it on the other as well. There are other good options, particularly if you do not have all the artifacts yet, but as I already have all the artifacts, that one I'm not too terribly worried about. That said, I am going to go back to the dig site really quickly and try to theoretically find that secret node, but yeah, who knows. I'm seeing a lot of these here, though. Really excited for a split second there when I saw the vague outline, but nope, that was not a secret node. Haven't been in the mushroom cave in a while. Are any in here? Yeah, there's some in here. We'll toss those in there. Pretty much the only other thing I did of note, while I was constantly having to keep resetting to try and get what I wanted for the axe before I ultimately gave up, was I did toss some, and I do mean only some, of the magma caps, the mushrooms that come from the volcano, into the shipping bin. And by some, I mean only the normal and gold star quality, which was 2 out of like the 30 that I had. So most of them, are, as you can see right now, of the 21, yeah, are still here. But this gave us some more spaces to work with, and that was the more important thing above all else. So I will store all of those, sell the mushrooms and the trilobite. And other than that, I think we're ready to take everything else back. Other than the cinder shards, let's put those away. Yeah, I think we're good to go. Bring a duck feather for Leo, who theoretically today should be mostly by the mountain area, so it shouldn't take too long to find him, I hope. But we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, let's get more of that iridium going. And despite the fact it's not at the start of the day, we are going to go ahead and do our normal routine. So I will see you guys when that is all said and done. Alright, we're back, and this little quadrant of 8 is basically what I'm selling. I did grab all the cranberries, and the jellies were actually already done, as you can see right here. So I took out all of the blueberry jellies and swapped those out. Also, the cloth was there too. And I swapped the blueberry jellies out for the cranberries. So the cranberries are going, and then all the gold star and silver star qualities are also dropped into the shipping bin. So that's what we're looking like for that. Up next, ooh, thank you. Up next, we do need to actually get these processed, and because Clint will not be open tomorrow, now is going to be our best opportunity to get these out of my hair. And with any luck, we might find, like, some bombs or stuff. I don't know. Not really sure what we're looking for here. I'll take those. Emerald ring. I think we've already got an emerald ring. Not completely sure on that. Ooh, yes. I'll take the deluxe speed grow for sure. I was going to say, anything that's actual gold is probably worth a fair bit as well. The lobster bisque. It's got good fishing power on it. It is lobster, but yeah, I think we'll just go ahead and drop all of that off. Yeah, I'll drop the broccoli seeds. I do want to hang on to that, though. And as for the emerald ring, do I already have one of those? I do not have one of those. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and add that to the pile, I guess. Yeah, because they look similar, but they're not quite the same. As for the speed grow, we'll put that here, I think, for now. This can go in here, and I think from this point, all we really need to do here is gift Leo today. I did quickly run inside and actually activate. That was how I found out about the jellies, but I did activate both the statues, so greater chance to find coal and extra friendship from speaking to people are the two blessings that we have for the day. Also have the blessing of taking the back route, and I need to chop down some of these trees, I guess. Leo, I don't think you're going to be home. Nope. He's probably out by the actual lake. I believe this is around where he is. But I'm not completely sold on that. If I don't see him after I walk up to the top of this. Hey, Demetrius. Then I will quickly check and see if I can find him elsewhere. It said he was to the left of the lake, but he also might have moved by this point. Now, at this point, I'm just talking so you don't have to hear the weed whacker. That is still somehow in this one area, despite having a complex and there are other spots of grass, not just directly in front of my window. Even on the second floor, you can still hear him. He's super loud. Let's see. Returns to the east of his treehouse at 2, so he should be there. East of the treehouse means I probably would have noticed him, I think. I feel like I would have noticed him. Linus, do you know where your buddy is? Nope. I guess not. It's east of the treehouse. That would be this way. He's not, like, north of it, is he? I know those are two completely different directions, but it feels like if he was in any direction, he would be the direction it said. Alright, well, there's Sebastian. Yeah, he's not by the train tracks. I'm not entirely sure where he would be. And that is getting really loud and obnoxious. I apologize. I might just go ahead and cut and meet you guys back at the island. And hopefully that will be gone. Ah, here he is. Put my nest. Have you ever noticed that all the interesting birds... Or have you ever noticed all the interesting birds that live here? I have. If you listen closely, they might tell you something. Yeah, they probably will. Let's take a look at social, and I'm going to keep talking. We've got 2 hearts left with Leo before we have maxed out our friendship with him. And at that point, we'll have maxed out with the friendship with everybody, which means that we will not, quote-unquote, have to worry about it anymore, with some exceptions. Some exceptions. As for what that is, I'm not going to say. We'll keep it a secret. We do have a new quest over here. Is this something a little bit more reasonable? No, this is just catching more fish. I'd rather, like, find the ones of, like, oh, hey, could you just come bring me this thing? Those are a lot easier. Especially at the point now where we kind of have everything. So what was here? Number bath. Yeah, not really. If there were bats in the volcano dungeon, I'd be like, yeah, sure, we can, like, you know, we can try for that, and if we don't get it, no big deal, but we're not really going to be in a spot where those are accessible, so guess that's not happening. I'm keeping an eye on that clock, though, as I pick up all the coral here. Clean up the beach a little bit. Nothing over there. Alright, cool. A little bit of extra income, but also making more things spawn in. Some potentially more useful things. Don't really need anything here. I think our... yeah, we're still really good on those. Alright, back to the island we go. I think since we have more time this time, I might go poke around the volcano dungeon rather than fishing. That is something more exciting, if nothing else. That warp totem could come in handy, but I don't want to warp to the mountains. I would rather warp back here. And that's not really an option, so that just means I'll essentially need to be more careful, that's all. Let's put up all the stuff I don't use in combat. Might need the watering can, potentially. And I think that'll do for now. We don't have any bombs, do we? Not really. Do we have any way to make them? No void essence is there. I don't have any coal either, so no way to make bombs. So unless we get to floor 5, that probably won't happen. But we do still have the napalm ring to help with that, and we might get a little bit lucky and find some golden walnuts that way anyway. Though I'm less interested in the golden walnuts from that and more interested in trying to find the secret notes. Either one would be nice, but the secret notes feel like we should be getting more than what we have at this current point in time. So I'd like to try to get at least one more today, but we'll see how that goes. It's really nice to just walk right across that and ignore it. Thank you. I mostly went there for the pineapple seeds, but hey, I'll take what I can get. We do still need to defeat those guys as well for the Monster Slayer goal. He dropped a bomb. I didn't realize they could. Makes sense. They are explosive enemies, so... I don't believe that we need any more from the crates in terms of the golden walnuts, so now we're just breaking them open for whatever spoils they might provide. So yeah, I just need to be semi-careful with my pacing the flooring. If I stick around floor 5, we're mostly going to be fine. Simply due to the fact that like we can just take the little jump and go back down to the bottom of the volcano from there, which is not too big of a deal. I was gonna say, surely you gotta be close to out of health by now, my man. Take that iridium. Oh, hello. Probably a treasure chest, yeah, at the end of this. What do we got? Pineapple seeds, very nice. I'm always in favor of those. If it weren't for the fact that coal is kind of a low resource thanks to making preserves jars, I'd say we could make some out on the island too and have the pineapple get worked into the rotation that way, but ah well. Perhaps at some point, just not right now. That. Get you out of here. Perfect. Ooh, he actually dropped a dragon tooth as well. They can do that, but I think that's the first time we've actually seen one of them do that. Oh, I thought for sure the door was going to be there, but no, it was not. Ah, there it is. Come on, where y'all running away for all of a sudden? Normally you guys are, like, ecstatic to come attack me. Yep. It's primarily going for them for the bombs, maybe for a little bit of extra income if we got lucky. With a little bit of luck, yeah, we can just force you down here, and there we go. It's always nice to not have to work at mining out the iridium nodes. It's a shame that even with, like, efficiency and the highest level pickaxe, that it still takes 4 swings to get those iridium nodes. I really think there's too many other types of rock that take 4 hits at this point. But oh well. Alright, so we're here, and the Weed Whacker has also returned in its infinite glory. I don't really think there's much I could sell you. I guess this. Would I want to buy any bombs? Honestly, no, I feel like I'd rather save my money right now. So we'll just kind of poke around on this floor and see if we can't find anything. Looks like we're not having much luck in this regard. We are finding mega bombs, though, and that will come in handy, especially whenever I find fragments like this. Aha, there's one. Please and thank you. And no, do not water that. I got distracted by the freaking weed eater again. I can't tell if it's a weed. It's getting louder. Why is it getting louder? It sounds like it's literally outside my door, despite the fact I'm on the 2nd floor. I'm gonna wait for it to at least calm down, and then I will see you guys and read this note. Alright, it appears we've at least moved to a new area, and by we, I mean him. There we go. That is the journal scrap I was looking for, right there. Alright, let's get out of here. I don't know why I did that. I think I was expecting to do the espresso, but nope. That is the journal scrap I've been looking for ages. That should be number 10. Yes. So we've got one more to find, and I do still want to find that, but journal scrap 11 doesn't give you any reward like number 10 does. So yes, if you go all the way out here, we do have the space for this, good. If you go out here to this little outcropping where this tree is, and use your hoe, you get 2 things, a golden walnut, and also the ever-elusive ostrich egg. It may be the world's largest egg. Yeah, if you've ever seen anybody make the mistake of saying that they can eat the entire contents of an ostrich egg, it's the equivalent to eating about a dozen eggs, or maybe it's 2 dozen. Either way, it's a lot. Regardless, we are going to make use of this ostrich egg and put it in the incubator that we have the crafting recipe for. And I believe he already gave us one by default. But yeah, here's what you need for it. I believe, though, they've already given us one, so should be okay on that front. So I will just hang on to it for the time being. But yes, that is one more golden walnut down, which is good. If I had the time to get over there, I'd be very curious to ask the bird, like, hey, what do we have next on your hit list, as it were? But we do not have time, sadly. Let's see, things I want to put in here. Just kind of small stuff like this, I think. The blueberries, this, those seeds. That's not an iridium star magma cap, so I'm fine with getting rid of that. We'll put the diamond in there, too. I think we'll keep the rest of everything else. Bombs, terratubers. We can do the add to existing stacks here, which I don't use that key very often, because usually it doesn't come in super handy, but in here, I'm okay with having it. Let's go ahead and get rid of all the non-prismatic. Yeah, we'll pick it up another time. It's not like these are super difficult to come by or anything like that, but that'll give us more space in here, which is more important, I think, right now. I'm also going to get rid of that, this. Just kind of little small things that I really don't need to be keeping in here. Little extra bits and bobs. These I'll hang on to because I want to take these back. How are we doing on these? 21. Alright, cool. Yeah, it would be nice to go over there and see, like, hey, what does he say is left on the list, but I don't think we have enough time to get there and then back, so we're gonna call it a video. Maybe I'll run over there at the start of this day and we'll find out. Would be curious to see what he's got to say. What was worth so much? Oh, the truffles. I was going to say, what was worth so much in other? I forgot. Yeah, there was a bunch of truffles. That makes a little bit more sense. Yeah, I am curious. I'm going to go over there and see what he's got. 473,452. What a number. I'm going to leave that there. But yeah, let's go see. So we've got the pickaxe, the hoe, and the fishing rod are the 3 we've done thus far. The sword and the scythe are... This one we're doing later, and the scythe's not doable, so that will leave 3 options. The pan, the watering can, and the axe for our next ones. So at the start of the next video, I will get another one of those upgraded, and we'll see how things look from there. But before we go, we'll be ending it off in Leo's hut, which is new. Usually we're back in our house, at least one of our houses, but not today. Oh, okay. So he doesn't have any more notes. Now, as I've already said, we know for a fact that that's not true, because at the very least we have not done this one over here because I have not collected a banana, and therefore I can't get these. So it is worth noting there is a small amount, and I recommend checking the wiki for this. There are a small amount of golden walnuts that parrot cannot provide any hints for. So if you get what I just got there and the parrot can't provide you any more hints, you might want to check that list and see, is there anything on there that I'm pretty sure I haven't done or should double check. So do be aware of that. And I guess we are ending back in this house regardless. Either way, that means we're getting pretty close to the end of the golden walnuts, and aside from the banana, I'll have to check and see what else overlaps, because that means that I might not actually have any more golden walnuts in the volcano dungeon, but I'll have to check on that. Until then, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.